All right. Well, good morning, everyone at Sand Peak Realty. I am so excited to share with you guys some thoughts going on in my mind. We just came back from the Florida Realtors Convention. It was a good convention. We had about, I don't know, 16, 17, 18 of us that went. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun. We had some good dinners. We had a great Turkish meal. Oh my gosh. Everybody who went, the food was amazing. We had some fun at the murder mystery. And of course, during the day, we had courses and classes, and some were not so good. Others were really, really good. There's this gentleman named Dan. I don't remember his last name. I'm going to try and pull the transcript. And it was about working with buyers in this new environment. And it got me thinking. First of all, I want to download the transcript because every one of us that was there was like, that's amazing. The way he said it, the way he talked about it, what he did just made so much sense. It really, really did. So my thought process is this. I've been thinking a lot about what's happening with the change. And believe it or not, it wasn't a huge topic of conversation at the convention. I don't know why. I think agents were more scared of it than they are. But coming back, let me tell you, there's buyers out there. Offers are getting written. Properties are being shown. So this is just a blip in the market. Like we said, a blip in the road. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to really affect our business. If anything, I think business is going to start picking up. I have a feeling between now and next summer, we are going to be so incredibly busy. We're going to kind of get back to normal. But normal as a real estate agent is not what most of you are used to over the last few years. So we're going to talk about that because I think that what normal looks like is, as a real estate agent, you got to work your butt off. You got to work really hard. You're going to have working with buyers where you're going to have lots of showings. So there's more inventory. So buyers are going to take their time, pick the right properties. You're going to write a lot of offers. You're going to get a lot that are not going to get accepted for various reasons. And compensation is not one of them. I will tell you that. That's a realtor issue. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to give you 7 things that I think you need to do right now to get more leads, more buyer leads in this market. And I think it's very important because buyers are really where it's at. We have a lot of inventory that is sitting, a lot, and we will continue to have a lot. We're still not at a healthy level. We still don't have the amount of inventory, the amount of selection that we need. And there's some sub markets of that, as we know as well. So let's talk about that very quickly. So land is moving very slowly. I have a feeling that land prices are going to start coming down drastically in the next 6 to 8 months. Here's why. Most land is purchased with cash. So a lot of people bought land during the run up a couple of years ago, and they're sitting on that. And as the economy stays hardened, because it's not softening right now, cash is a very big thing for a lot of people, and people are starting to run out of their residual cash. They're starting to run out of that extra income they have. So they're going to start looking to dump their land. And since land is cash, they're willing to take that hit on the price. So I think you're going to start to see a drop in land. If I were you and getting land listings, I would get as many as I can, get as many signs. I would probably do just like the PVC signs in the ground, get them everywhere. Maybe do a nice like 3x3 sign that you do a couple of 2x4s with, and make a nice presentation. But I would not count on selling much land. That's just my opinion right now. Okay, so that's the first thing. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you with that. Condos are another issue as right now. Some condos are moving fast, most are not. You've got these milestone reviews. You've got a lot of issues with HOAs, with reserves. Condos are kind of in a very strange place right now. So condos to me are like land. Take your condo listings, but I just wouldn't overstress on them. I just wouldn't. I would do as much as you could. Now, if you can find condos that are like 2 or 3-story condos, the lower level type condos, those are going to do great. And of course, if you can get them on the beaches where it's like a prime vacation destination, that's a whole other story. But these intermediate ones, these kind of price between like maybe, I don't know, 150 to 300,000, those are the ones that are really going to be difficult. right? So obviously this is a conversation about buyers, but I will just talk about what you need to do to get listings so you can get more buyers. So we're just talking about the market overall. Condo buyers are we're not getting a lot of condo buyers, a lot of inquiries on that either. So that's why I'm kind of saying the market to me is really right now about single family. And that's really where you need to start focusing. And I would try and get up to the higher price points in single family. I think that the lower price points are still being very much affected by interest rates, by cash flow, and they seem to be a little difficult. Those of you with those like 250, 200, 250, $300,000 price properties, we're having a hard time getting them closed right now. Very difficult time. So I would start to climb that ladder and get up as high as I possibly can. But here's the 7 things. So here's what I want to tell you. So right now the market is hot. You need to strike. You need to get as many people as you possibly can, and you need to have conversations. So I think that when I was talking about that lesson we got from that Dan guy at the and I hate saying that Dan guy, but I'll get to it more later. But I think it's very important for you as an agent to really focus in and hone in laser focused on what it is that you need to do to get more buyers. So here's number one, first thing, because it seems very much in the industry as a whole, a very big trend is that the agents just don't know the contracts we're writing. We've got new forms. Headline, newsflash, we're going to be getting more. They did talk about that at the Florida Realtors Convention. We will probably have more forms. Things will change. It's your job as an agent to know those contracts inside and out and be able to explain them. That's the new exclusive buyer broker agreements. That's the new showing agreements. That's the new exclusive listing agreements. That's the new contracts. That's the compensation agreements. All these new forms you need to be able to explain. And I'm not going to even talk about the new forms. It's amazing how many agents don't even know a lot of from what's the old forms. You need to be able to have the contract known inside and out. You need to be able to have all of the addenda that you need. Everything that you need needs to all be in your brain, and you need to be able to explain that. You need to be able to sit a buyer down and explain the contract, because they're looking at you to be an expert and help guide them. And that's a very important piece of the big puzzle for you to be able to explain the contracts to a buyer. And let me tell you, if you are not explaining your contracts, that's generally when you have issues when you're like through the process. So you need to make sure that a buyer understands completely before they ever even get in that. That's what's great about this right now. This new environment that we have is that we can finally sit a buyer down and have a full buyer consultation, maybe even 2 or 3, prior to running out and looking at properties and wasting your time and all these things. You need to educate your buyers. It's like a listing presentation. You need to educate your sellers before you put the house on the market. It's the same thing with buyers now. You really need to take that time and explain to a buyer what they're about to get into and what the ramifications are and how it all works and how these contracts all work. If you can do that and set the expectations up front, your life is going to be so easy. So that's number one. Learn your contracts inside out. If you don't know them, sit down at night, read over them, talk to yourself in the mirror in the bathroom. Get your spouse or another agent or a friend and explain it. Does that make sense to you when you talk to them? Because if it doesn't make sense to them, guess what? It ain't going to make sense on your buyers. And there's nothing worse than practicing on a buyer, because generally if you practice on a buyer, they aren't going to be your buyer for very long. So keep that in mind. Number 2, let's talk about number 2. Let's keep moving on. I would create an incredible story about what's happening. It's a perfect time for you to talk about the changes and how it benefits a buyer and how you have helped other buyers in the past. And now you have these changes, which will help them even better, and how it's about the buyer. Everything that you talk about is making it better and easier for them and why we're doing all these things. You need to have a story. You can't just say, hey, I need you to sign this document. We have to all sign it now. If I don't sign it, you can't see the property. BS. I'm a buyer. I want to see a property. Either you're going to show me or somebody else is going to show me. And I ain't signing your document until you can convince me and show me the value and why I should sign your documents. That's why you need a good story. You need to think this through. You need to sit down, take some time. You just need to sit and think. Let me think about it. Write some stuff down. Why should a buyer use me? Why are these documents important? What are the changes? And start to craft a story. It's like writing a play or writing a script for a movie. You need to own it. You need to be your own words. It needs to be your story. It needs to be uniquely used. So that's number two. Craft your unique story about all these changes and how it benefits a buyer. You want to pick up as many buyers as you can. Trust me, you're going to need this for some of the other points I'm going to make today. You need this story. So that's number two. Get that story. Number three. Well, this is exactly what I'd say is do as many open houses as you possibly can right now. You need to pick up as many buyers as you can. I would do them on the weekends. I would do them at vacant houses. I would do them at occupied houses. I would do them at high price point houses. I would do them at waterfront houses. Anywhere you want to work your market, I would be in there doing this. And you need your story. This is why you need your story and you need to know your contracts. So when buyers come in, you have a conversation with them. You discover their needs, their wants, their values, what's important to them. And then you can take your story and say, hey, I am the best agent to help you do that. I'm the best trained, the most knowledgeable. I have the best market experience. I understand what's going on. And I'm going to guide you through this whole process. And because I'm going to do that, I'm bringing you value. I'm bringing you knowledge. I'm bringing you experience. I'm going to save you time. I'm going to save you money. I'm going to teach you things that you just don't know. The market has completely changed. It doesn't matter how many houses you've bought in the past. It's a whole new playing field, right? Think of it like this. We used to take astronauts and launch them on Apollo rockets to the moon. Okay. Then we had the space shuttle, completely different technology, completely different way. And we sent them up. That's gone. Now, how do we do it? We put them on the top of a SpaceX rocket, which is completely different technology, completely different way we did everything, and we send them up that way. So again, we've sent people to the moon. We've sent people up in rockets, but we're doing it different now. It's the same thing when it comes to how we're dealing with buyers now. And you need to be able to articulate that at your open houses. So I would do as many open houses as I can, do them during the week, do them on the weekend, do them at night, do them during lunch hour. Remember, we live in Florida and there's a lot of traffic on the roads during the day in Florida. There's a lot of seasonal people here, people on vacation. There's a lot of snowbirds. There are a lot of retired people. There's a lot of young moms who are dropping their kids off at school and nothing to do. We're not a big working class environment where it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. No, we are in a market where pretty much 7 days a week, real estate activities are going on. Think about it. How many of you are showing houses during the week and during the day? Many of you are. So parlay that. It's great. You know what's great about an open house during the week? A lot less competition. A lot less competition. On the weekends, that open house buyer may be going to 5, 6, 8, 10 open houses. So if you think you're the only one who's getting their information, not true. But during the week, probably maybe one or two others going on if you're lucky. So it's open. It's open. Just do it. You get all the buyers. You capture them all. So that's number 3. Get in those open houses. Number 4, I got it written down here. I would be reaching into my sphere of influence right now and trying to educate them on what's going on, making yourself sound like you are the expert. That's emails, that's videos, that's text, that's sharing stories of how you're helping other buyers. And I would be asking in all kinds of ways, if anybody knows a buyer who needs help, anybody knows a buyer who needs help, anybody who knows a buyer who needs help, I would be asking that non-stop in my sphere. Because again, those are your biggest advocates. And this is an important time. We're changing. This is the perfect time to do that. So I would be working in my sphere until I couldn't work it anymore. Number 5, when I get a listing or other agents' listings, and I know that this doesn't happen often, I would be doing a heck of a lot of circle prospecting. I'd be doing letters and postcards. I'd be doing flyers. I'd be doing door hangers. I'd be knocking on doors, inviting people to open houses. I'd be knocking on doors, letting them know that we just listed it. I'd be sending things out via my email newsletters when we have price corrections or price adjustments. I'd be doing all kinds of things to circle prospect as many houses as I could around a listing. And I'd be trying to capture buyers and more listings. So that's why this is important. Circle prospecting is a huge huge point of your business. When you have a listing, or if you have other company listings that you don't have yours, but there's other access to other listings, I would be marketing them because there's a sign in the yard. There's some validation that you're in the neighborhood. And I would be using that to my advantage. And a lot of agents don't. So that's something that you really need to consider. It's a lot of work. It takes some money up front. It's a lot of time. But that's what I'd be doing. I'd be doing a lot of circle prospecting. Okay. Next thing I'd be doing is overloading my social media right now with graphics, with infographics, with stories, with quotes, with information about all these changes. Everything you can possibly do, I'd be using your social media as a sounding board. I'd be on Facebook and Instagram. I'd be on YouTube. We'll talk about that in a minute. LinkedIn, I'd be pushing stuff on LinkedIn. I would be doing everything I possibly could to get that information out there to agents. I mean, not to agents, to buyers. Everywhere you can get it. You need to be taking your story, the ideas of the contract, advertising your open houses and your listings, talking about all these changes and all this information and why you are the best agent. And I'd be pushing that everywhere on social media right now, everywhere I could get it. A couple times a day. I'd be spending probably 3 or 4 hours a day focusing on that. And if you're only focusing like an hour a day or 2 hours a day on real estate, it ain't going to cut it anymore, folks. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but that's not going to cut it. All right. Number 7. So this is we got 6. So the first one was learn the contracts. 2 was create an incredible story. 3 was do as many open houses as you can. 4 is contact your sphere, work that SOI. 5 is the circle prospect. 6 is to overload your social media. Number 7 is what I'm doing right now. I would be making as many videos as I could. I'd be sitting in front of houses. I'd be doing some in my living room. I'd be doing them like this in the podcast studio. I would be getting as many videos as I possibly could talking about these changes, talking about my story, talking about how I can bring value to a buyer, talking about what I can do to help them. Because this is important. This is what we are doing. You see, understand, people want to see you. They want to look in your eyes. Look in your eyes. That's exactly what they want to do. They want to know you. See, it's just not enough to put something in an email. It's just not enough to have your picture. This is me. No. They need to hear your voice. They need to see you talking. They need to see you on social media. They need to see you in their emails and videos. They need to see you everywhere you can possibly be. So that way you are the expert. Again, this is the time we're all on a level playing field. If you want to capture more market share, you want to get more things, this is what you need to do. So get those videos. Here's a bonus. You want to get more buyers? I'll tell you the best way to get more buyers. Plain and simple. Go get more listings. When you have the listings, you control the market. When you have the listings, you control the compensation because you can make an agreement with the buyer. The seller, if I bring the buyer in, well, let's just go ahead and talk about what that is. You may not want to offer compensation to a buyer's agent right now, or you may just want to possibly negotiate a little bit. That's fine. But let's talk about right now at the listing presentation. If I procure the buyer, if all my marketing efforts and all the things I do and my smiling face and my warm, bubbly personality gets the buyer to make an offer on your property, let's go ahead and have an agreement right now what that compensation is, because I can negotiate that right up front with the buyer. So let's go ahead and get that out of the way. And then that's going to give me more power when I'm negotiating on your half on the price and the other terms. Because remember, there's 5 points we negotiate on a contract, right? First is price, second is deposit, third is closing cost, 4 is contingencies, and 5 is the closing date. So those are the things I would do. So I gave you 8, I said 7, we'll say 7.5, okay? Listen to this video again, write these down, get an action plan, get your calendar out, do some time blocking, know what you want to do, create a goal, create a plan, get working. Because folks, let me tell you something right now, real estate is tough. And the part-time realtor is probably not going to make it. They're going to really struggle. The agent who's working 30, 40, 50, 60, sometimes 70, 80 hours a week is going to kill it in this market. You are going to make so much money because you understand your thumb is in the market. You're knowing what you're doing. So that's what we want to do. So let's get out there, get some property sold. I'm available if you need me. I hope this video helped. And again, this is Mike giving you those good tips. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.